Hi everyone, this is Julia Houdmeier and you're watching A Voice Calling Out. Today I wanted to use my channel to voice a concern that I have about our emotional well-being and mental health in the current situation where we are facing a global pandemic of the spread of the coronavirus causing the COVID-19 disease. As probably everybody who is watching this knows, this is a very serious situation. This is not to be taken lightly. We have globally implemented a lot of health and security measures so that we can all keep being healthy or recover safely, and more than anything, protect those who are in the risk group, among whom the mortality rate is the highest with this disease. And what I'm realizing is that amongst these major talks about bodily health, I feel almost nobody is talking about how does this affect us emotionally, how does this affect us spiritually, what does it do with us, and at the same time I can see in the world, and you can see it as well, and you can feel it on your skin, that this is happening and it's having major emotional and spiritual impacts on all of us. What I mean by this is, how does it make us feel and what kind of an effect it has on us when we have to be in a self-imposed quarantine for who knows how long, whether we are sick or not. What does it mean to us that we lose our normal routines, that we do not get to go out of our house anymore, meet our friends, do the things that we usually do that majorly contribute to our mental health and well-being. So the reason why the situation is concerning to me is because I know that any kind of life stress and readjustment situations in our life where suddenly something that we had suddenly is something that we no longer have, no matter what that kind of thing is. In this case is the situations that we have to let go of, situations of maybe saying no to traveling, saying no to going out of our house, saying no to parties, to events that we were planning for and hoping for and working towards very hardly. These kind of things always cause some kind of emotional responses in us. Plus, living in a world where everybody seems to be panicking and buying all the toilet paper for some reason can take a toll on us. And today I want to share a couple of tips with you, a couple of tools that I want to give to you to make sure that amongst this whole craziness that is happening, you stay mentally, emotionally, spiritually sane and healthy, and the tools to recognize that if something is overwhelming you to an extent that you cannot cope on that alone or with the help and support of your family and friends, that you may know what are the kind of situations that would require you to look for some kind of professional help. So, first thing, it is my belief that any kind of crisis situations that we face as individuals or as communities, it's both at the same time a danger and an opportunity. It has a danger that it will just swipe us away, destroy our lives, and make us more embittered and just make us shrink in our lives even more than we are generally at the moment. But it also has the chance. It has a chance to make us better. It has a chance to recognize that we all belong together and that we can use every kind of situations, but especially those that challenge us in a negative ways, to show that we are together, we belong together, we help each other, and in the process to become the better versions of ourselves. So in a way, crisis can either embitter us or embetter us. I would like to share a couple of things that would help not only take care of our souls and our minds, but I also want to challenge you to see the situation as a situation where you can grow and become a better version of yourself. All right, so first off, majorly important thing, learn to recognize and manage your emotions. Yes, start with your emotions, because if you don't manage your emotions, they will end up managing you. And you can see this in the world as the panic rises, the toilet papers go away. That's, for me, is mostly people who are very, very much afraid, and this fear makes them trying to control whatever they can control, and this is one of the things that we do. So if we don't learn to manage our emotions, they will manage us. In this kind of situations, the kind of emotions that are most likely to be very, very high up on the possibility of happening are fear/anxiety, kind of emotions that prepare us to take action, and feelings about loss, which can range from sadness to grief. These are the emotions that signal us that something that is very important to us is no longer part of our lives. So what I would like you to do is to make sure that you connect with yourself and allow your feelings to speak to you, and allow yourself to listen non-judgmentally whatever kind of emotion that comes up for you, because it's very, very easy to see and go outside and see people wearing masks and be like, oh, they're so controlled by their fears, while we're on our way to buy out the whole department store of toilet papers. So let's not let our emotions get the best of us, but let's accept them and then decide what we want to do about them. So in the description box, I will be sharing a couple of resources as to what kind of techniques can you use to recognize and manage these emotions. But I just want to tell you in this video, this is probably first things first. Realize what your insides are telling to you, because that's important, because you are important, and no matter what kind of emotions that are, accept them and allow them to be there. And if the actions that would be dictated by these kind of emotions would be something that are reckless or dangerous or really not appropriate, then try to find alternative ways. For me, the emotions that mostly came up, a part of anxiety, which is kind of the general, was grief, because I realized in a couple of weeks I'll be turning 30, and I've been planning for doing a party for a very long time now, and I had everything in my mind, and I was so happy, and mostly happy because generally I didn't grow up in an environment where birthdays were such a big deal, and that always gave me the message that I am not such a big deal, that I am not important enough, and that the things that happen in the life are all more important than me turning 1 year older. And this situation where the thing that happens in the world is very, very much important than me turning 1 year older is triggering to me, those places. And what I choose to do about that is to tell them to the friends that I know will listen to them, that I know will be able to comfort me, and also to just accept this sadness and not wanting it to go away. Just allow it a place in myself. It really helps. So first things first, learn to recognize your emotions, manage your emotions, and make sure they don't manage you to do something crazy, even though you're afraid. Second thing, very, 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 very important for your mental health is to try and stay active. This is now a major thing that probably will be lost for many of you who are quarantined or need to work from at home, or generally in places that are so high risk that you're not allowed to leave your home for almost any reason. But please know that whatever you do with your body has a direct effect on your mind and on your mental health. So if you absolutely need to stay in your home, make sure that you always stand up, walk a little bit, open your windows, yes, get fresh air, and just do something that requires you to be active, either with your body a lot, but also with your mind. Do stuff like reading instead of watching TV, writing, journaling, writing a book, creating something, redecorate your home with the things that you already have. So also kind of helping the waste situation. Rearrange your furniture. Me and my husband do that every couple of months just for fun, because it's really something that refreshes our minds. While we're at home, declutter your spaces. It has such a huge effect on your general health and also especially mental health, where you can go through your stuff and say, this is something that sparks joy, let's say. This is something that I want to keep, that has value in my life, and this is something that I want to donate, throw away, or sell. And do that. Just be active. By all means, avoid watching TV and or Netflix or all these kind of streaming services all day long. Nothing against these kind of services. If you do it for just a limited time in your day, then you're probably okay. But make sure that you know that the more passive you are in your body and in your mind, the worse you will end up feeling. And especially now that we do not have as much mobility as we used to, usual movements that we would do to the bus station or to our jobs or to, I don't know, a gym or to visit friends and family and such, all now are not done anymore. So make sure you are able to replace that with some kind of movement as well. I would even venture saying, and this is very important, only if this is something that is legal and allowed in the place where you're living, and only if you are not sick, and only if it's really safe for you individually and for your surrounding people to do that. Try and make a point of going out of your home for 10 to 30 minutes a day. Just walk. You don't have to take the bus. You don't have to go to crowded places. Please actually try to not. But just for the sake of your emotional well-being, try to choose a time where are less people outside. Try to take protective measures, whatever you can. Don't touch anything that you shouldn't. And just move your body outside. If you have a balcony, then do it there. This is just the idea of, if you move your body and you do something active with your body or with your mind, then that will contribute to your general emotional, mental well-being. And I want you to have that. All right, so third thing, connect. Connect with your friends, connect with your family, connect with yourself. Make sure that you are doing your best to come together in relationships with the people who are in your life. This is majorly important for your general well-being, and it's something that in most Western societies today we have kind of forgotten, and we are isolating more than we should be. Just because you need to be physically isolated, please do not be emotionally isolated as well. Call your friends, call your family, call your grandparents. Probably they are pretty alone at the moment. Ask meaningful questions, ask them how they are, and listen. And give them your comfort and share your story. That will help them to not feel alone. Huge shout out to Discord. With the software, you can now, because of the coronavirus, call more people at the same time without having to pay extra. So use it to do something together. Maybe this is also time to reconnect with people who no longer live very close to you. So you call them up, ask them how they're doing, ask them what their government is asking them to do. Just be there for each other and make a game out of it, or laugh together. Oh my God, laughter, obviously not the best medicine for everything, but it's a very, very good medicine. Maybe the situation where our usual interests and priorities had to fall away can be a very great opportunity to work on our relationships again. Maybe many of you have broken or kind of difficult relationships. How about take that up now? I have a couple of resources in the description box below that give you a couple of pointers as to how to heal broken relationships. So use this time. You might not be able to travel to where you wanted to. You might not be able to go to that book release, but you still have the opportunity to reconnect either by phone, or if you live in the same household or it's safe for you to do so, in person with the people that already are in your life. You might get surprised by all the good things that can happen through this kind of situations. So especially if you live alone, do this. And if you live together with your family or partner, and you all have to work or have different kind of activities that you have to go through the day, then give yourself the space that you would give also to your work colleagues if you would be at work to work. But whenever it's time to make a break, like a lunch break or afterwards for dinner, come together, put every kind of electronic devices away, shut down the TV, and just have a meal together and enjoy the fact that you are all alive and you belong together. Either if you're a family or you're living together with friends or even people who don't really know very well, but you live together in the same apartment, this could be a chance to build those relationships up. So use it. Next thing that you can do, and I find this tremendously helpful for me especially, and for everybody who I know that they're doing this, connect with your spiritual side. If you are someone who usually doesn't give much thought about big spiritual topics like death and the way we are all connected to each other and suffering and stuff like that, do yourself a favor and start thinking about those kind of things. Take a time in your day where you read a book about these kind of topics. I listed basically all my library on this topic, all the books that I've read on these kind of topics. I can recommend to you all of them. Pick up one of these books or other books and reflect. And this is again something that we don't give much thought about because we always have these other priorities, right? So why not use the time where either way we cannot go and do those things for our priorities, and just ask ourselves, how does this make me feel? Also, generally, if you are someone who has already a kind of a spiritual tradition, prayer, meditation, scripture reading, and acts of service towards others are all things that now can have an even greater impact on your life and on the life of others. Why do I want you to start doing spiritual practices for your mental health? Because prayer, meditation, scripture reading, and thinking about these kind of topics does something that is even measurable in our brain. It creates new perspectives. It creates new ways to look at situations that we're all in. And perspective sometimes is all we need. Some of my colleagues call this reframing, is when you see everything in a new light. And this is what will help us become better human beings, more connected with each other, more concerned with the health and well-being of others. And that will truly make us become a better version of ourselves. As I said, I have a lot of resources in the description box. Make sure you check at least a few of them out that really speak to you, that I can just really recommend it to you guys because it helped me tremendously. And I want you to also experience this kind of help. Okay, so these were my tips and tools for you to how to keep mentally and spiritually sane and well in these crisis situations. Do not forget that these tips are mostly about things that we can do outside of the things that we have to do as a regulator by the respective authorities. If whatever I'm saying to you makes you think that you can just bypass those things, please don't. What the health authorities are saying to you in your countries, that is your law. And whatever I'm saying, just maybe some salt on it. So your life, even if it's more impoverished by the things that you cannot do anymore, still has that flavor that makes it your life and makes it enjoyable. I am hoping and praying that you will all be safe and especially well emotionally, physically, spiritually. I hope that this video will be something that inspires you to do something that is good for you. All right, so thank you so much for listening to this. What are you doing now? What will you take from this, or what are other things that you took and implemented in your life right now as you're dealing with the coronavirus pandemic situation that help you be stable emotionally and healthy spiritually and mentally. Share that in the comments. I would really love to read them, and I'm sure all of you who also watch this video would love to read from each other. Let's encourage each other. Let's take each other up. And as always, if you like my kind of content, and enjoy listening to me talking about them, then by all means subscribe to my channel and like my videos and share it with your friends. And until next time, take very, very, very good care of yourselves, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Bye!